In this video I'm going to talk about the difference between condos and apartments here in Thailand, and I've got 6 or 7 reasons as to why I prefer apartments over condos and why I think apartments are better than condos, which I'll go through. But very quickly, the difference between condos and apartments. Condos are obviously condominiums and they're privately owned. All the units are privately owned. I come from Sydney, Australia, and they were called strata titles there. Individual owners for the units, and then there's public areas, the hallways, stairs and lifts and so forth were private public areas, I should say. So all the units were separately owned. That's condos. But apartments are owned by a single person. There's an owner. Sometimes they might employ a manager to look after the apartment, so you deal with either the owner or a manager they employ. So that's the difference between condos and apartments, in case you don't know. Now I'm just going to go through the reasons why I think apartments are better. The first reason is there's no condo fee at apartments. At the condo, back in Sydney, it was called a strata fee. Okay, I'm not too sure what it's called in other parts of the world, but in Thailand I just call it a condo fee. And that was around 550 baht a month where I was paying there. And that's obviously like a strata fee. It's the money that goes towards the upkeep that all the owners, well, I'm not sure why, I guess the renter paid that as well, but it goes towards the uptake of the apartment, the public areas and so forth, maintenance and all that sort of stuff. So at the apartment you don't have that condo fee, so be careful about that, especially if you see a price quoted for the rent. Find out what the condo fee is, because that's virtually added to the rent. And I didn't know about that. It was a cheap condo, but when I added 550 about thereabouts a baht per month onto the rent, that was the true figure of what I was paying for per month. So that's the condo fee. Secondly, it's much easier to pay your bills to the apartment. Now, for apartments there are 3 things: rent, electricity and water. There's 4 things at condos, the condo fee. Now, for the rent, electricity and water, they're going to give you one bill. They might slip a bit of paper under your door and you just pay that to the office manager downstairs or the owner. One time, bang, downstairs, it's all paid. But at the condo, I had to pay the rent to the owner separately. I had to go out to a bank and deposit money in their bank account. I had their bank account number, either put the money in one of those machines or go into see a teller inside the bank and get bad service and so forth. So I specifically had to go out to a bank every month. The electricity, I would get a separate bill and I would have to pay myself to the Bangkok government authority, the electricity authority. You can pay at 7-Elevens, they charge a small fee for that service, or you can pay at the commissions, the electricity commission's office. They have offices all over the place. Luckily I had one next to my condo. So you have to go out and find and pay the electricity bill, and the water bill was included in the condo fee, which you pay to the condo manager in the office in the condo building. So there's 3 separate things you had to pay: the condo fee and water to the manager in the building, the rent to the owner at a bank outside, and the electricity to the government authority outside as well. So it's much easier at the apartment. You get one bill and pay to the manager or the owner downstairs, less hassle, and of course there was no condo fee. It's just the rent, electricity and water that you pay. The only thing about that was that the electricity at apartments are more expensive here in Thailand. I'm not too sure how it works, but this apartment's charging 7 baht per unit of electricity. My first apartment was charging 8. Some apartments charge 9, but the condo, because you're paying straight to the government authority, it worked out at about 3.5 baht per unit, so it's cheaper. But once you include the condo fee, this apartment, even though I'm paying more rent here and more electricity, it's still working out either cheaper or about the same, depending on how much air conditioner I use, than the condo, because there's no condo fee at the apartment. So it's still about the same price or a bit cheaper. If I don't use the air conditioner, it's still cheaper. So be careful about that. Electricity is more expensive, but with the condo fee, it just depends. You've got to add that condo fee, like I said before. The third reason is you don't have a lease with a private owner. It's just a lot easier. At the condo, you have to find an owner, meet them, sign the leases with them. Then you've got to deal with the condo manager in the office in the condo building. So it's like a two-step process. Meet the owner, deal with the owner, and then deal with the condo manager. Here at the apartment, it's just much easier. You just got the manager or the owner downstairs one time, fill out their one form, pay the bills to them, just much easier. It might be easier to change rooms in the apartment because at the condo, because you're renting from an owner with a lease, you've got to like give notice to leave. Then you've got to find a new room, a new owner, meet them, sign new leases and so forth. If you want to change rooms, if the neighbours are annoying or whatever, like I had in my condo with annoying, noisy people upstairs and so forth. Here at the apartment, if you want to, if you find neighbours just want to change rooms for whatever reason, it's just easier to speak to the owner or the manager, and you don't have leases to break and sign and so forth with private owners. It's just easy to change rooms, I think. If you lock your keys in the room, the manager downstairs is going to have spare keys. At the condo, the building didn't have spare keys. I had to contact the owner. They had to come after work. I had to wait hours for them, so the owner had to come specifically into my room with the key to let me in the room. So, the apartment's surely going to have spare keys. That's going to be a lot easier in that regards. And for paying rent, because at the condo you're paying to a private owner, they're going to be watching like a hawk to see if you're late. I think I was late one day once and they were quick to send me a message, but at the apartment, like, you've got a few days grace. I think technically you've got 5 days to pay your rent, so there's a few days grace to pay rent, but if you're paying to a private owner, they're going to be watching like a hawk. So there it is. There's 6 or 7 reasons why I think that apartments are better than condos, and also the difference between condos and apartments in case you don't know. Any questions or comments, let me know. Take care, and I'll see you next time.